Hello there, thank you for joining me today. My plan is I want to make a handle on my lathe to replace the old wing nuts. They work but they're uncomfortable. I want to make something along the lines of this. It's much better, I'd rather make one than buy one. So hopefully you'll enjoy the video and thank you for joining me. Just roughing it down with a gouge. Just gonna clean it all up. I'm using a parting tool to clean the end up a bit so it's nice and square. Sometimes it's a bit difficult to get the little pip in the middle. Now I'm using the calipers. I've got that size set for the outside diameter I want the handle to end up as. So I should cut a groove in it which will give me my size to work from. Use my little gouge now just to trim it down to get rid of the bulk of what's left. It removes quite a bit of material at one go then, and it's quite controllable being a small gouge. Again, using the calipers to give me my overall size. I'm going to start shaping it now with the gouge and cleaning it up. Set it up for drilling there. As I'm using an M6 bolt, I'll be using the Forstner bit is a 10mm, which will give me enough room to set the bolt into, or the nut into, sorry. Also slowing it down a bit so I don't overheat the bit. Using a 6mm twist drill now, which will obviously give me the clearance for the 6mm bolt to go through it. I'll bring it back out to clear the swarf and the dust on the bit, otherwise it'll clog and overheat the bit, which obviously you don't want. Using a scraper now because you can get a finer result and a nice clean finish. Bringing the scraper around to just bring a nice little curve. Using the corner of the scraper so it'll I can sort of round out and smooth off the hole that goes through, so there won't be a sharp edge once I'm using it. Now I'm using the parting tool to well, give me finish where I want the round of the handle to go, and it'll give me a shoulder to work to. As you notice, as I'm doing it, I'm turning the tool as well as moving the handle. That allows you to give sort of a better curve. Try to use light cuts and then it gives you a better finish. Got it shaped to what I want, so I'm now going to sand it off. And I'm starting, this is just a piece of 120 grit sandpaper. Swapping over to a 240 now. Get more of a fine finish. With the way it is, I'll only need the 240. And now, if you have the shavings and rub it over, it's like burnishes the the wood to give it almost a sheen, and it'll harden the wood up, top of the wood up a bit to give it a basically a nice finish. Obviously, you got to be careful you don't catch your fingers in the chuck or anything. Now just try to clear the dust, the old wood chips out of the hole, so it doesn't stick in the finish when I put it on. Use the old tack cloth, that takes off any dust in the grain and all. It saves it getting in your finish. I'm using a friction polish that's for turning and all. You put on and give it a bit of a coat and then let it dry for a bit. This one's a chestnut product, which I find quite a good range of products of chestnut. They seem to work quite well. The cloth is still slightly damp with it, and you rub it on and gently increase the pressure, and literally the friction brings it up. But I'm using a Turner's safety cloth there, designed that if it catches, it'll rip rather than catch it. If it a normal cloth, you can catch your fingers, and if it catches in the chuck or in the turning, it can hurt your fingers. So the old safety cloths are quite good for it. Looking at it, the shoulder I've left on the bottom is a bit too thick, so I'm just going to nip it down a bit more. I've cut it down by about half of what it was. Getting ready to catch it as I part it off, otherwise you drop it and 9 times out of 10 it drops down on the back of the lathe where you can't get at it. That's the turning all done. What I should do now is, I don't show it, but I take it over to the bench and chisel out the little corners where the nut goes. And you see it finished, and it's on my sledge that I use on my bandsaw. And it's just nicer than a wing nut. But, well, I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching. Bye for now.